Kagerman charges hard, battling for P2, relentless on the attack. Kagerman charges hard, battling for P2, relentless on the attack. Kagerman charges hard, battling for P2, relentless on the attack. KL3 charges into second, closing in on the leader fast. Kagerman charges hard, battling for P2, relentless on the attack.
Nego, E36,
KL
surges from Germany,
charges
battling
into second,
fiercely,
closing in on the
place.
leader fast. Kagerman charges hard, battling for P2, relentless on the attack.
Nego, E36,
KL
surges from Germany,
charges
battling
into second,
fiercely,
closing in on the
place.
leader fast.
Kagerman charges
Kagerman
hard,
charges
battling
hard,
fiercely for P2,
battling for P2,
eyes on the prize.
relentless on the attack.
Nego, E36,
KL
surges from Germany,
charges
battling
into second,
fiercely,
closing in on the
place.
leader fast.
Kagerman charges
Kagerman
hard,
charges
battling
hard,
fiercely for P2,
battling for P2,
eyes on the prize.
relentless on the attack.
Nego, E36,
KL
surges from Germany,
charges
battling
into second,
fiercely,
closing in
place.
on the leader fast.
Kagerman charges
Kagerman
hard,
charges
battling
hard,
fiercely for P2,
battling for P2,
eyes on KL3MY rockets ahead, commanding P1 with relentless speed. Nego E36 charges hard in fifth, eyes on the battle ahead. MX5 surges from Jamaica, charging into second place, fierce and relentless. Nego, E36 charges forward, battling fiercely in P4. Kagerman surges to P3, closing in on the leaders. What a battle! MX5 blasts ahead, holding P1 in a stunning display of speed. "25 minutes left. The tension builds. Drivers push to the limit. Potato charges ahead, battling fiercely for P3, pushing the limits. KL3MY charges ahead, battling fiercely for P6, relentless on the track. Potato charges hard, pushing for P3, gaining ground, relentless speed. Clem charges through the pack, now battling for fourth place. Potato charges hard in second, sets best lap at 154.737. Kagerman charges hard, battling for P7, pushing the limits. Potato charges into second, closing the gap, relentless and fast. Kagerman battles hard, holding strong in P7, eyes on the prize. Potato charges hard, P2, best lap a blistering 154.280. Dami XTP charges to P3, setting a blistering best lap of 154.672. CL3MY charges in sixth, setting a blistering best lap at 159.456. "20 minutes left. The tension builds. Drivers push harder, racing for glory." Philip charges hard from Belgium, battling fiercely in seventh place. Nego A36 leads at P1, with a blistering best lap of 153.523. CL3MY charges into P7, eyes on the prize, relentless pursuit. Biszkoptowiec battles fiercely, holding strong in eighth place. Relentless pressure mounts. Philip charges to P4, sets a blistering best lap of 1 minute 55.040. Clem 3 charges hard, battling for 7th. Fierce competition ahead. Philip charges forward, battling hard for that coveted podium, pushing past P4. Kagerman battles fiercely, pushing hard in 7th place, eyes on the prize. MX FTP charges forward, battling fiercely for 3rd place. Philip charges forward, battling fiercely for the podium, closing in on 3rd. Kagerman rockets to P6, nails a blistering 157.240 lap. Potato rockets to 2nd, sets blistering best lap at 153.780. Biszkoptowiec charges to 5th, clocking a blistering 157.237 best lap. "15 minutes left. Drivers push harder. Tensions rise. It's a race to the finish." Philip charges hard in P2, clocking a blistering 153.661 lap. R1TZ0GV charges in 7th, sets a blistering best lap of 157.558. Biszkoptowiec surges to P5, clocking a blistering 156.492 lap. R1T0GV charges ahead, battling fiercely for 6th place, engines roaring. Kagerman charges ahead, battling fiercely for 5th place. MX5 charges forward, battling fiercely in P4, closing the gap. R1TZ0GV charges into P7, closing the gap. Eyes on the podium. KL3MY battles fiercely, charging from P8, closing the gap fast. R1TZOGV charges into 7th, closing in on the pack ahead. Pete pushes hard, fighting for 8th, gaining on the pack ahead. Bishkoptovets charges into 5th, battling fiercely, gaining ground, pushing hard. MX5 surges to P4, nails a blistering 154.450 lap. "10 minutes left. Drivers pushing hard, tension rising. Every second counts." Clemmy charges hard, battling for P8, pushing every corner. Philip charges in P2, clocking a blistering 153.615. Potato rockets to P3, battling fiercely for the podium. Pete charges forward, battling fiercely for 8th place now. KL3MY charges to P8, clocks a blistering 158.590. Philip charges hard, eyes on the leader, battling for P2. CL3MY battles fiercely in 8th, closing in on the pack ahead. Philip charges into 2nd, closing in on the leader, fierce and relentless. Lassise battles hard, holding strong in P10, pushing for more. Wojtek battles fiercely in 11th, closing the gap on 10th place. Potato charges hard, fighting for third, closing in on the leaders. Lassise charges hard, battling for ninth, pushing through the pack. Wojtek charges forward, pushing hard from P11, hunting for that top 10. Pete charges to ninth, sets a blistering 159.679 best lap. Potato charges hard, battling for P3, pushing limits, closing the gap. Clemmy charges in P8, sets a blistering 158.006 lap. Five minutes left. Tension rises. Drivers push limits. Adrenaline surges. Who will seize victory? MX5 battles fiercely, holding strong in P4, pushing for the podium. Wojtek charges hard, battling for P11, gaining ground, fierce determination. Kagerman rockets to fifth, sets a blistering 155.275 lap. Lassise fights hard, holding steady in 10th place, eyeing a breakthrough. CL3MY charges forward, battling fiercely for 8th place, engines roaring. Pete battles fiercely in 10th, eyes locked on the competition ahead. Kagerman charges into P5, closing in on the leaders fast. Wojtek charges to 7th, nails a blistering 157.163 best lap. Potato charges ahead, battling for P3, tire smoke billowing. KL3 battles hard, charging through the pack in P9. Kagerman charges to P5, nails a blistering 155.078 lap. Lasses charges from Latvia, battling fiercely in P11. R1T0GV battles hard, pushing for a top 5 finish, relentless on the track. Kagerman charges hard, battling for 4th, gaining ground, relentless push. Potato battles fiercely in 3rd, eyeing the podium. Pressure mounts. MX5 charges forward, battling fiercely in 4th place. R1T0GV fights hard in P7, clocking a blistering 156.650. Lasses charges through the pack, P8 with a blistering 156.889 lap time. MX5 charges forward, battling for 3rd, closing the gap fast. Kagerman charges hard, battling for P5, eyes on the prize. R1T0GV sprints into 7th, battling hard for every inch, relentless pressure. Kagerman storms to P5 with a blistering 154.912 lap time. MX5 charges ahead, battling fiercely for P4, pushing hard through the pack. R1T0GV charges forward, battling fiercely for position 7, Relentless speed unleashed. Nigo, E36, charges ahead, battling fiercely for P2. Kagerman charges forward, battling fiercely for P5, eyes locked on the prize. Dummy XBT charges forward, battling fiercely for that podium spot in fourth. Kagerman charges forward, battling fiercely for that coveted fourth place. Dummy XFTP battles fiercely, holding P4, chasing down the podium. Wind whips through Zandvoort. Drivers push limits. Tension builds. Engines roar. Qualifying intensifies. Nigo.E36 storms to P1, leading the pack with fierce determination. Kagerman surges to P3, chasing the frontrunners with fierce determination. Lassise charges hard, battling fiercely in P2, closing in on the leader. Philip charges through the pack, now seventh, closing in fast. Lassise charges hard, battling fiercely for P2. Pressure mounts. Philip charges forward, battling for position. P7 in sight. Nego E36 battles hard in 12th, pushing for every inch of track. Lackey's charges hard, battling for P2, eyes on the leader. Kajerman charges hard, battling for third, pushing the limits. Clem surges to P7, gaining ground on the pack, fierce and focused. Nego.E36 charges to P2, just 0.12 seconds behind. Best lap 153.836. Just 25 minutes left. Tension mounts. Strategies unfold. Drivers push limits. Lasses charges to P6, gains 0.42 seconds, fierce pace. R1T0GV from Ireland charges into 5th, slicing through the pack, gaining 0.22 seconds. Hagerman storms to provisional pole with a blistering 154.301. R1TZOGV charges to 5th with a blistering 156.481, just 2.964 off pole. Wojtek charges hard, battling for P10, eyes set on victory. Nego E36 charges hard, battling for the lead in P2. Lasses battles hard, pushing for 7th, gaining ground on the leader. Lasses charges to 8th, clocking 156.778, trailing pole by 3.261 seconds. Witek battles hard, charging forward from P11, eyes on the top 10. Wojtek charges to P9 with a blistering 157.382, closing in on pole. Pete charges forward, battling fiercely in P7, eyes on the prize. Bish Koptowiec charges hard, battling for 10th place, pushing limits, gaining ground. Nego E36 charges hard in second, closing the gap on the leader. Nego E36 seizes provisional pole with a blistering 153.467. Lasses charges to P8, gaining nearly a second. "20 minutes to go. Action heating up. Drivers pushing limits. Tension rising." Lasses rockets to 6th with a blistering 155.785, just 2.318 off pole. Hex battles hard, up to P10, clocking 157.480, chasing the leaders. Philip storms to provisional pole, 153.000, chasing victory in P2. KL3 battles fiercely in 12th, pushing hard for a top 10. Philip leads the pack, charging ahead, relentless and unstoppable. P1. Potato charges hard in P4, closing the gap on the leaders. MX5 charges in 5th, closing the gap, pushing hard, relentless pursuit. MX5 storms to 3rd with a blistering 154.088, just 1.088 off pole. Hex from Latvia charges hard, battling for P11, gaining ground fast. Hex improved to 7th, clocking a 156.378, 3.378 off pole. CL3MY fights hard in 11th, battling for every inch on the track. Bish Koptowiec charges hard, pushing for a top 10 finish. Fierce determination.
Biskoptovets rockets to P7 with a blistering 156.135, chasing the leaders. Hex battles hard, pushing for P8, slicing through the pack. Wotek charging forward, now 12th, gaining 0.62 seconds. Witek charges to 12th, clocking 156.874, just 3.874 off pole. Biskoptovets rockets to P8, closing the gap, relentless pace. Biskoptovets rockets to 7th with a 155.652, just 2.652 off pole. Tharaxo charges into 6th, closing the gap on the leaders. Tharaxo rockets to 6th with a blistering 154.654, just 1.654 off pole. Hex battles hard, pushing for P9, closing the gap, relentless pressure. Hex improved to 7th, clocking 155.433, just 2.433 seconds off pole. Tharaxo from Spain charges to P6, gaining 0.83 seconds, relentless pace. Tharaxo charges to P3 with a blistering 153.557, just a heartbeat from pole. Pete from England charges to P12, gaining 0.22 seconds, relentless pursuit. KL3Me rockets to P11, gaining 0.54 seconds, pushing hard. Pete charges to P12, slicing through the pack. Best lap 156.482, gaining ground fast.
Pete charges to P10, clocking a 1:56.101, just 3.101 off pole. Philip leads by 0.17, pushing hard, maintaining the edge, relentless pace. Wojtek charges to 13th, gaining 0.22 seconds, pushing hard. Lasses charges to 10th, gains 0.11 seconds, pushing hard. Philip leads by 0.10, charging ahead, eyes on victory. Ten minutes left. Drivers push harder. Tensions rise. Positions shuffle. It's a nail-biter. Philip snags provisional pole, blazing a 1:52.832 lap time. Lasses rockets from P10 to P8 with a blistering 1:55.572. Clem 3MY charges from 10th to 8th with a stunning 1:55.569. Wojtek charges hard, battling for position, pushing into 13th place. Clem charges forward, now in 8th, gaining 0.10 seconds, pushing hard. Pete in P11, clocking a 1:56.101, chasing down the leaders. Nigo, A36, charges into second, closing the gap by 0.20 seconds. Domi XFTP in 4th, gains 0.19, best lap 1:54.088, chasing pole. Hex charges ahead, P7, gaining 0.18, closing the gap fast. Hex storms to P7, clocking a 154.820, just 1.988 off pole. Biszkoptowiec charges hard, battling for position in P10. Biszkoptowiec charges to 8th, clocking 155.032, just 2.200 off pole. Claimy climbs to 7th with a blazing 154.742, closing in on pole. R1T0GV battles fiercely, charging through the pack, now up to P12. Five minutes left. The tension mounts. Drivers push to the limit. It's go time. R1TZOGV rockets to P10, clocking a 155.324, just 2.492 off pole. Biszkoptowiec charges to 9th, gaining 0.16 seconds, pushing hard. Biszkoptowiec charges to P9, clocking 154.867, just 2.035 seconds from pole. Lasses charges in 11th. Best lap, 155.572, 2.740 behind pole. Hegerman surges to 6th, gaining 0.12 seconds, charging ahead. MX5 FTP charges into 4th, closing in on the podium, relentless pace. Pete from England charges forward, battling for position at P12. Potato charges forward, battling fiercely in P5. Eyes on the podium. Thoraxo in P3, battling hard, just 0.10 seconds behind. Best lap 153.557. Ferrexo storms to second, clocking 153.151, just 0.319 from pole. Qualifying session in overtime, drivers pushing limits, tension skyrocketing. Potato charges ahead, P4, extending the lead to 0.17 seconds. Potato rockets to P4, clocking a blistering 153.567, just 0.735 from pole. Copiloti Chavu charges forward, slicing through the pack in P14. Tharaxo charges into second, gaining 0.03 seconds, closing in fast. Copilot Cheva charges to P14, clocking a blistering 157.891, just 5.059 off pole. Lap 23. Verstappen leads. Hamilton charging. Wind picking up. Tension rising. It's Zandvoort. Philip charges ahead, dominating the track, maintaining first place. Theraxo charges hard from Spain, battling fiercely in P2. Nico.E36 rockets into P3, charging ahead, eyes on the prize. Potato charges forward, battling fiercely for third place. Philip charges ahead, holding P1 with 45 minutes to go.
Theraxo charges hard, battling fiercely in second place.
Nego.E36 charges into third, battling fiercely for every inch. Theraxo charges into second, closing in on the leader, relentless pace. Nego.E36 charges forward, battling fiercely in P3, closing the gap. Theraxo charges hard, closing in on P1, the battle heats up. Nego.E36 rockets to P3, closing in on the leaders fast. Theraxo charges hard, battling fiercely for second place. Nego.E36 charges into P3, pushing hard for the podium. Theraxo charges into P2, closing in on the leader, relentless pursuit. Nego.E36 surges in third, just 0.6 seconds off Theraxo's tail. Philip charges hard, 0.2 seconds behind Theraxo in a fierce battle for P2. Nego.E36 charges hard, just 0.4 seconds behind Philip in third. Philip charges, closing in on Theraxo. Just 0.4 seconds separates them. Nego.E36 charges hard in third, just 0.3 seconds behind Philip. Philip charges ahead at P2, 0.3 seconds clear of Nego.E36. Nego.E36 charges, closing in on Philip, just 0.4 seconds back. Thrilling battle. Philip holds second, 0.3 seconds clear of Nego.E36. Fierce battle intensifies. Nego.E36 closes in, just 0.4 seconds behind Philip, in third place. Philip holds P2, 0.4 seconds clear of Nego.E36. Fierce battle ahead. Nego.E36 charges, just 0.4 seconds off Philip in P2. Philip holds second, 0.7 seconds clear of Nigo.E36, charging hard. Nigo.E36 charges to P3, clocking the blistering 154.276, just 0.334 from the lead. Philip attacks, closing in on Thoraxo, just 0.4 seconds behind. Nigo E36 charges in P3, just 0.2 seconds behind Philip. "40 minutes to go. The tension rises. Drivers push harder. It's neck and neck. Pete charges forward, closing in on Lassiz, just 0.4 seconds back. Biszkoptowiec battles hard in P7, closing in on Philip, who's quicker last lap. Pete battles hard in P10, just 0.7 seconds off Lassiz's pace. Biszkoptowiec attacks, closing in on Philip, just 0.3 seconds behind. R1T0GV, charging hard at P14, closing in on CL3MY, gaining momentum fast. Biszkoptowiec charges hard, closing in on Philip, just 0.6 seconds back. Pete surges from 10th, closing in on Lassiz, just 0.3 seconds back. R1T0GV charges forward, closing in on CL3MY in 14th place. Lassiz attacks, closing in on Pete in P9, just 0.3 seconds back. Kagermann charges from P11, closing in on Lassiz, just 0.3 seconds back. Philip charges in 6th, clocking a 154.561, just 1.087 seconds off the fastest lap. Lassiz charges, closing in on Pete in 10th, just 0.4 seconds back. Philip charges hard, closing in on Hex, just 0.1 seconds behind. Philip overtakes Hex, now charging for P5. Hex lunges for P5, just 0.2 seconds behind Philip. Fierce battle unfolding. Kagermann charges at P10, closing in on Pete, just 0.8 seconds back. Hex charges in 6th, closing 0.6 on Philip ahead. R1TZOGV closes in on CL3MY, just 0.1 seconds behind. Fierce battle brewing. R1TZOGV storms past Clem-Y, snags P13. What a move! Lakiz charges forward, battling hard, eyes set on the top 10. Pete charges hard, slicing through the pack, pushing for P8. Kagerman charges at Pete, closing the gap. Now, just 0.6 seconds back. Pete charges forward, 9th place in his sights, pushing hard, gaining ground. Kagerman chases hard in 10th, just half a second back from Pete. "35 minutes left. Tension rises, drivers push limits, strategy unfolds, excitement builds. Pete charges, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.3 seconds behind in P9. Kagerman charges, closing in on Pete in P10, just 0.4 seconds back. Pete holds P9, fending off Kagerman just 0.2 seconds back. Kagerman charges, closing in on Pete, just 0.3 seconds back in P10. Pete closes in on Wojtek, just 0.2 seconds separates them. Thrilling race. Philip charges in 5th, clocking a blistering 153.362, just 0.209 off the leader. Pete holds P9, fending off Kagerman just 0.4 seconds behind. Philip charges forward, battling hard for 4th place, closing the gap fast. MX5 surges, closing in on Philip, just 0.2 seconds behind in 5th. R1T0GV charging hard, closing in on Copilot Chavu in P10. Excitement builds. MX5 charging hard in P5, just half a second off Philip. R1TZ0GV charges hard, closing in on Copilot Chavu, just half a second away. CL3MY charges hard, closing in on R1TZ0GV, just 1.0 seconds back. MX5 in P5, pushing hard, best lap, 154.546, chasing the leaders. Clem chasing hard, just half a second behind R1TZ0GV. R1TZ0GV holds 11th, clocking a 155.451, chasing the leader's pace. CL3MY charges hard, closing in on R1T0GV in P12, just 0.4 seconds back. 4R1TZOGV holds P11, 0.2 seconds clear of CL3MY, racing fiercely. 4R1TZ0GV rockets to 10th place, charging through the pack. CL3MY charges forward, slicing through the pack, now P11. Copilate Chevaux chasing hard in P12, closing in on CL3MY, just 0.5 seconds back. "30 minutes to go. The tension builds. Drivers push harder. Positions tighten. Clem Y battles hard, pushing for a top 10 at P11. Copilate Chevaux charges hard, closing in on CL3Y, just 0.3 seconds back. Clem EY charges hard, just 0.1 seconds behind Copilate Chevaux in 12th place. Copilate Chevaux holds 11th, 1.1 seconds clear of CL3MY. KL3MY charges hard, closing in on Copilate Chevaux in P12. Copilate Chevaux battles in P11, 1.1 behind 4R1TZOGV, who dominates with blistering pace. Clem L3MY charges hard, closing in on Copilate Chevaux, just 0.7 seconds behind. Latz's charges from P9, closing in on Bishkoptoviets, 1.5 seconds behind. Last lap was lightning fast. CL3MY closes in on Copilate Chevaux, just 0.1 seconds away now. Domix TP charges in 5th, 4.0 seconds behind Philip, closing the gap fast. KL3MY closes in on Copilate Chevaux, just 0.6 seconds behind in 12th place. Potato charges in P3, pulling 3.1 seconds clear of Philip. Clem Y charges, closing in on Copilate Chevaux in 12th place. Wotek charges hard, slicing through the pack, now P7. CL3MY charges hard, closing in on Copilate Chevaux in 12th place. Latches charges P9, closing the gap to Bishkoptoviets at 1.4 seconds. Potato holds P3, 2.6 seconds clear of Philip, charging ahead. Clem charges, closing in on Copilot Chevu in a fierce battle for P12. Copilot Chevu battles fiercely in P11, just 0.5 seconds ahead of CL3MY. "25 minutes to go. The tension builds. Drivers push harder. Racing intensifies." Clem, CL3MY charges ahead, battling for P12, fierce and relentless. Lasses charges in ninth, clocking a best lap of 156.537, chasing the leader. Clem M charges hard, closing in on Copilot Chevu in P12. Copilot Chevu holds P11, pulling away from CL3MY by a full second. Clem, EWI, charges forward, closing in on Copilot Chevu in 12th place. Copilot Chevu holds P11, 0.6 seconds clear of CL3MY. KL3MY charges forward, closing in on Copilot Chevu in 12th place. Copilot Chevu closes in on 4R1T0GV, now just 0.8 seconds back. Fierce battle. Clem charges forward, closing in on Copilot Chevu in 12th position. Copilot Chevu holds 11th, 0.3 seconds clear of CL3MY. Fierce battle brewing. KL3MY charges hard, closing in on Copilot Chevu in P12, just 0.5 seconds back. Nigo E36 dives into the pits, holding strong in second place. CL3MY rockets to P11, gaining ground fast. Copilot Chevu charges forward, battling fiercely in 10th place. Potato flies out of the pits. Nigo.E36, hot on his heels. Clean Y charges from P11 to P10, gaining ground fast. Hex blasts out of the pits, charging back into the race. Copilot Chevu charges hard, battling fiercely for P9, relentless on the track. Pete, in the pits, Woltec and Lasses blasting out. Racing resumes. Clem 3MY storms out of the pits, charging back into the race. Pete rockets out of the pits, Copilot Chevu in 12th. The race intensifies. Co-Pilot Chevu surges to P11, fighting hard for every position. KL3MY battles hard in P12, pushing for a crucial position gain. Thoraxo blasts out of the pits, 20 minutes to go, pure adrenaline. Copilot Chevu charges ahead, battling fiercely for 10th place, closing the gap. Potato leads, Philip bursts out of the pits, charging forward. MX5 dives into the pits, holding strong in P3, fierce competition ahead. Clems charges hard, closing in on Copilot Chevu in 12th place. MX5 blasts out of the pits, charging back into the race. Biszkoptowiec flies out of the pits, latches charges in P9. R1T0GV charges, closing in on Lakis, just 0.2 seconds behind. Thrilling battle. Co-Pilot Chevu battles fiercely, just 0.6 seconds behind 4R1T0GV in 11th. R1T0GV holds 10th, 0.6 seconds clear of Copilot Chevu. Copilot Chevu charge hard, closing in on 4R1T0GV, just 0.6 seconds back. R1TZGV holds P10, just half a second clear of Copilot Chevu. Copilot Chevu charges in 11th, clocking a 155.404, 2.251 off the pace. RITZ0GV holds P10, pulling away from Copilot Chevu by half a second. Copilot Chevu charges hard, closing the gap on 4R1T0GV in 11th. Biszkoptowiec charges, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.3 seconds behind. Thrilling battle. R1TZ0GV holds P10, just 0.3 seconds clear of Copilot Chevu on lap 14. Biszkoptowiec lunges at Wojtek, just half a second separates them. Intense battle brewing. Lasiz charges in 9th, 0.4 seconds clear of 4R1T0GV. Biszkoptowiec charges, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.6 seconds back. Biszkoptowiec surges past Wojtek, claiming 7th position.
Wojtek charges in P8, closing in on Biszkotowiec, just zero point 0.4 seconds behind. Kopilot Chavu charges lap 14, closing in on 4R1TZ OGV in 11th place. Wojtek charges forward, battling fiercely in 8th place. "15 minutes to go. Drivers push harder, tension mounts, positions change rapidly." Kopilot Chavu charges forward, closing in on 4R1T0GV, just 1.1 seconds behind. Wojtek charges at P8, closing in on Biszkotowiec, just 1.6 seconds away. Kopilot Chavu closes in on 4R1TZ0GV, just 1.0 seconds back in P11. Wojtek charges hard at P8, closing in on Biszkotowiec by 1.8 seconds. Kopilot Chavu charges lap 15, closing in on 4R1T0GV in P10, just 1.1 seconds back. "4R1TZOGV charges ahead in P10, 1.0 seconds clear of Kopilot Chavu." Wojtek battles in P8, 1.5 seconds back. Biszkotowiec gaining ground fast. Kopilot Chavu attacks, closing in on 4R1T0GV. 11th place battle heating up. Nego.E36 charges hard in 4th, closing in on Philip, just 1.4 seconds back. Kopilot Chavu charges P11, closing in on 4R1T0GV, just 1.2 seconds away. Philip charges into P3, closing the gap, eyes on the prize. Kopilot Chavu charges hard, closing in on 4R1TZOGV in P11. Pete battles hard in 12th, pushing for a top 10 finish. Kopilot Chavu charges forward, closing in on 4R1T0GV in P11, just 1.2 seconds back. Philip fights hard in P3, nails a 153.295,
just 0.142 off fastest. Copilote Chavou charges forward, closing in on 4R1T0GV, just 1.1 seconds separating them. Wojtek charges, closing in on Biszkoptowiec, just 1.1 seconds away. "10 minutes left. Drivers push harder. Tensions rise. Battles ignite." Lassie's rockets to P9. Nails a 1:55.887, 2.734 seconds from fastest lap. Wojtek closes in on Biszkoptowiec, just 0.8 seconds back. Pressure mounting. Lasse's charges, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.8 seconds back in ninth. Wojtek charges at P8, clocking a 1:55.973, chasing the leader's pace. Lasses charges P9, closing in on Wojtek by 0.2 seconds. Hex rockets to fifth, battling fiercely for every inch. Lekkies closes in, just half a second behind Wojtek in ninth place. Baraxo charges hard, closing in on the leader in P2. Lasses closing in on Wojtek, just 0.4 seconds back. Last lap was blistering. Pete charges through the pack, now 12th on lap 18. Lasses charges, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.1 seconds behind. Wojtek holds P8, just barely ahead of Lasses by 0.1 seconds. Wojtek slips to ninth as Lasses charges ahead. Tharaxo charges into P2, closing the gap on the leader. Wojtek charges hard, closing in on Lasses, just 0.4 seconds back in ninth. Biszkoptowiec P7, pulling away from Lasses. Last lap, 0.9 seconds quicker. Wojtek charges P9, closing in on Lasses, just 0.6 seconds back. Copilot Chevu chases hard, closing in on 4R1TZ OGV in P10, just 1.6 seconds back. Wojtek battles hard, charging through the pack, now P9. Copilot Chevu charges to 11th, setting a blistering 1:55.079, just 2.155 off the fastest. Five minutes to go, tension rises, drivers push harder, positions are up for grabs. Wojtek charges forward, battling hard in 9th place, eyes on the prize. Copilot Chevu charges hard, closing in on 4R1TZGV in P11, just 0.7 seconds back. Philip charges hard, P3, battling for the podium. Copilot Chevu charges hard, closing in on 4R1TZ OGV in P10. R1TZ OGV battles fiercely in P10, closing in on the pack ahead. Copilot Chevu charges, closing in on 4R1TZ OGV, just 0.3 seconds behind. R1T0GV holds 10th, 0.3 seconds clear of Copilot Chevu. Copilot Chevu charges to P11, clocking a blistering 1:54.699, chasing the lead. Lassies charges forward, 8th place, closing in on Biskuptoviec, just 1.4 seconds back. Nego E36 charges ahead, battling fiercely for a podium finish in P4. Copilot Chevu charging hard, closing in on Wojtek, only 0.7 seconds back. R1TZOGV surges, closing in on Copilot Chevu, just 0.8 seconds back. Copilot Chevu battles for 10th, 0.5 seconds behind Wojtek on lap 21. R1TZ0GV charges hard, closing in on Copilot Chevu, just 1.1 seconds behind. Copilot Chevu attacks, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.3 seconds behind. Lassies charges from P8, closing in on Biskuptoviec, just 0.6 seconds back. Copilot Chevu charges, closing in on Wojtek, just 0.6 seconds behind. Lakash charges forward, closing in on Biskuptoviec, just 0.3 seconds behind. Biskuptoviec charges P8, closing in on Latches, just 0.1 seconds back. R1TZ0GV in P11, pushing hard. Best lap, 155.299, chasing the leaders.
Biskuptoviec charges P8,
Closing in on Latches, just 0.4 seconds away. Co-pilot Chevu, charging hard, closing in on Wojtek in P9, just 0.8 seconds back. Biskuptoviec closes in on Latches, just 0.1 seconds separating them. Thrilling battle. Potato crosses the finish line, claiming victory in a thrilling race. Philip secures third place, battling fiercely, eyes on the prize. Nego.E36 charges to fourth, closing the gap, relentless pace. Hex charges to P5, battling hard, closing in on the leaders. Domi XTP charges into sixth, pushing hard for more. Lasses charges to seventh, Biskuptoviec close behind in eighth, Wojtek ninth, 4R1T0GV 10th. Copilot Chevu charges to 11th, Pete slips back to 12th.